Hey everybody, it's Bob with Hardcore Love. I want to share a testimony about a guy named Johnny. My ministry team and I were out on Bissonnette one night some time ago, and Bissonnette's a major prostitution track in the Houston area, but we don't just minister to prostitutes. We might minister to anybody we find out there that God puts in our path to minister to. And this particular night, this guy was walking up the street, and he was walking like this, slumping and shuffling along and clearly depressed. You could just feel the depression coming off of Johnny. So we walked up to Johnny and called him over and began to speak to him and speak life into him, and witness to him, minister to him, share the gospel with him, prayed for him several times. He shared with us that just his life had not gone well at all, that he was separated from his kids and he missed them terribly. He was separated from his family. He was basically homeless. He was living in and out of this local hotel, this cheap hotel, and just things had gone completely south for him, and he was on drugs, and Johnny has a speech impediment, so he had some challenges in life anyway, and he was just really depressed. And somebody asked him, "Johnny, have you been thinking about killing yourself?" And he said, yeah, I definitely have. And so again, we spent more time with him, spoke life into him, and shared the gospel some more, and just prayed over him some more. And he didn't receive Jesus, or he didn't accept Jesus right then and there, but when he left our presence, he had a smile on his face, and I suspect that was the first time in a long time Johnny had smiled. And so that was all I knew about Johnny at that point in time. But a little over a month later, we ran into Johnny out there again, and Johnny was a whole new man. Johnny was cleaned up, spring in his step, walking upright, came up to us smiling, hugged us, loving on us, telling us that he was walking with God, he was talking to God all the time, that he'd gotten a job, he'd gotten himself cleaned up off the drugs, and God had just completely changed his life around, and he got a full-time job working, moving cars around for contract service for car dealerships. And he was working long hours, and everything was going great. And we subsequently learned, after we saw him just after Thanksgiving, and he got to spend Thanksgiving with his kids for the first time in a long time. He got to spend some time with his kids, and he was so happy about that. He told us, he said, "I'm calling my mom every day. Every day I talk to my mom, and it's just wonderful." And he shared that his sister was having a house built or rebuilt or something, and that because he had gotten cleaned up, she had invited him to come and live with her there and share the expenses. And so he wasn't close to homeless or homeless anymore. He was about to move into a home with his sister, and man, Johnny was just completely redeemed, whole new man. And so God was showing me through Johnny's story that's what redemption is really all about. Taking somebody who's just at the absolute bottom in their life, and the devil's been messing with them, the devil's been trying to take them out and convince them to kill themselves, and completely redeeming them, completely turning their lives around, completely changing them. And all it took was just meeting somebody that could speak that into him, could tell him about Jesus, and speak life into him for the first time probably in his life, or at least in a long time. And so our God is wonderful. He is a redeemer. He loves you. I love you. Have a wonderful day.